What's up everyone? In this video I'm going to be talking about my first ever action camera, which is the GoPro Hero 11, and it's packed with a ton of new features, and I'm going to talk about why I decided to get one, what I'm going to use it for, etc. But for now, I'm going to be enjoying this amazing walk through the woods. Fall colors everywhere, leaves falling, so nice. Okay, so before I continue, I want to say that I got the Hero 11 because I'm starting to get more into FPV while still going with the DJI Avata. And the Avata can record in 4K, but 8-bit color. I wanted more. I want 10-bit color. It's one of the reasons I got the GoPro Hero 11, but also to record my videos from another angle. So in a nutshell, the GoPro Hero 11 has 5.3K up to 60 frames per second, 4K, 120, 2.7K, 200 frames per second. But something that I've really wanted is the 10-bit color, and that's something new that they've added in this year's GoPro. It wasn't available in the previous versions. It can also record in a new aspect ratio of 8:7. Now I'm going to talk about that in a bit. It has more resolution in photos compared to last year as well. And the GoPro Quick app has AI editing software. It's also got light trails and light painting as well. The 8:7 aspect ratio increases the vertical field of view for the GoPro Hero 11 by 16% compared to its previous generation. Now, the 8:7 aspect ratio allows you to reframe your video the way you want to reframe it, in landscape or for vertical. For example, in order to capture something in vertical, you'd obviously flip the camera into vertical and then capture it in order to frame your shot perfectly. But when it comes to 8:7, you can just record it and then reframe the size according to what you want to reframe it in post, whether 16:9 or 9:16. With this version, GoPro also released the Hypersmooth 5.0, which increases your stabilization. When you turn on auto boost, the AI automatically detects how much to crop in or how much to not crop in. It depends on your movement as well. That does a very good job at stabilizing your video while you're recording from your GoPro Hero 11. With 10-bit color, you have more smoother gradients, better shutter details, and less banding. Now, 10-bit color can record up to 1 billion colors compared to 8-bit color, which can record up to 16.7 million colors. This gives you more dynamic range in post-processing. However, keep in mind that the file sizes will be bigger and you'll need more processing power. The GoPro Hero 11 now has 27 megapixel photos and can shoot in RAW compared to last year's version, GoPro Hero 10, which could shoot photos in 23 megapixels. It also has different modes such as burst mode and time-lapse as well. Now I've used a time-lapse feature in order to record photos, between intervals, or you can also use the burst mode in order to capture moments and then choose the best ones that you like and then edit those and then post those as well. One of my neighbors decided to mow their lawn, so I had to come back inside. When it comes to slow motion, you've got a couple of options. You've got 60 frames, 120 frames, and even 200 frames in 2.7K. Personally, I don't really use 200 frames per second. I stick to 60 frames per second most of the time, but sometimes when I really need to slow things down, I film in 120 frames per second, and for me, that works best. Now, when it comes to the 8:7 aspect ratio, you're limited to two resolutions, 5.3K and 4K. And 5.3K, you can record in 24 and 30 frames per second in 8:7 ratio, while 4K, you can do only 60 frames per second. And when you move to 4:3, you have a couple more options. When you move to 16:9, you have even more options. For example, you can record 5.3K in 60 frames, 4K at 120 frames per second. Light painting is a cool feature, and it records in 4K, so it's pretty fun to use it. You should definitely try it sometime. You need to be somewhere dark. Now that is pretty obvious, and you need a flashlight. Your phone's flash will do perfect, and you can just try to write something or just make random designs, and it's pretty fun. Kind of like vehicle trail lights, but something that you are moving yourself. So you can get pretty creative with this particular feature. The GoPro Hero 11 also has a night lapse feature. It has time warp as well. I've used the time warp a couple of times and it's been pretty good. I just mounted on my car or I put it on my bike, for example, and I just turn it on and it just keeps recording. And I know it's a pretty good hyperlapse that you've got there. It does a pretty good job at it. The GoPro Hero 11 has the Hyperview. This is an even wider angle for you. So I think it's 12 millimeter equivalent, if I'm not mistaken. Something I've noticed that if you're going to be using the Hyperview, make sure that you or your subject is in the center, because that's where it looks the best. You can obviously tell that there's a lot of distortion. So for those of you who are into a lot of action and you want an even wider view, the Hyperview is just perfect for that particular feature. For me, I'm really happy with just using the wide angle lens. The Super View is pretty wide for me, so I don't really use the Hyperview, but it's good to have that option in this camera as well. You never know when you're gonna need it. So this is what it sounds like straight out of the GoPro Hero 11. It is a little windy here today, and I just want to see how well it does. And I did not get the foam thing that reduces the amount of wind that hits the mic. That's still on the way, but that's pretty cool. I haven't tested out the GoPro media mount, yet. So I was finally able to get this foam thing for the GoPro Hero 11. I just put it on. It cost me like $11, I think, and there was 2 of them. And this is what the audio sounds like straight out of the GoPro. So I'm gonna compare this to the video from yesterday. I mean, the audio from yesterday, without the foam, and see how well it does. It is also pretty windy today, and I'm on. One of the main reasons I wanted to get the GoPro Hero 11 is because I've been flying the DJI Avata, and even though the Avata can record 4K in 50 and 60 frames per second, it is, however, only limited to 8-bit color for now, and I wanted more. I wanted to be able to record in 10-bit color, which means smoother color gradients and less banding, more dynamic range. For now, the DJI Avata is only limited to 8-bit color. Another reason is that I can record in different frame rates with the DJI Avata. If I mount this GoPro Hero 11 on the DJI Avata, I can record in more frame rates, such as 24 or 30 frames per second, and also in a higher resolution of 5.3K. I recently bought the Bad Idea mount from Original Dobo, and I'm working on that video, so make sure you're subscribed in order to not miss that video. I also wanted to recently add a lot of more POV shots in my videos, and this is the perfect camera for POV shots. I'm also into a lot of adventure sports like jet skiing, biking, quad biking, snowboarding sometimes, and I want to be able to just mount this camera to get those POV shots, and instead of using my phone, for example, or my other camera, which could cause issues, accidents can happen. This camera is just perfect. I could just easily mount it on, turn it on, and it's just ready to go. I almost forgot to mention the Enduro batteries. The Enduro batteries are new from GoPro, and they last even longer compared to the previous versions of GoPro's batteries. As far as heating is concerned, I haven't found any issues yet. I've only yet scratched the surface when it comes to this action camera, and I'll look forward to creating more videos with it and on it as well. Just to sum everything up, the GoPro Hero 11 can record in the highest resolution of 5.3K. It's got 8:7 aspect ratio and 10-bit color, as well as 27 megapixel raw photos. It's also got a wider field of view, the Hyperview, for those of you who want more into their videos when recording action, for example. So that's been my review on my first ever action camera, the GoPro Hero 11. And like I said before, I do look forward to creating more videos with it and on it. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any future videos, and I'll see you soon.